Hello and welcome. We are glad that you have joined us for this session. And our topic today is about the efficiency effect, how to improve your client experience by focusing on efficiency. My name is Gabrielle Fontaine, and I am a consultant and an instructor for accountants and bookkeepers who are working through the internet. And I'm delighted today to have with me Celso Pinto of Pixie, which is a practice management app, and then also Melanie Schroeder. Sorry, Melanie. I knew I was going to mess that up. Melanie Schroeder of Out of the Box CPA. And we have a lot to cover today. But first, I'd like to hear from each of you. Have you introduce us? Tell us about yourself and your business. So Melanie, why don't you go first?
Sure, Gabrielle. Thanks for having me. So again, I'm Melanie Schroeder, or Schrader. Honestly, you can pronounce it both ways, so that's totally fine. I am the founder of Out of the Box CPA, as you mentioned, and it's a public accounting practice up here in Canada, Vancouver, BC. And I've been in public practice for most of my career, which is about 25 years now. And I work mostly with smaller to medium-sized businesses and all owner-managed type businesses. And I'm also a registered professional counselor, so that differentiates me a little bit from the rest of the accountants, I think.
Very good. Excellent. Well, welcome and thank you so much for taking your time to talk to us today about this idea of the efficiency effect. Appreciate it. And Celso, we're glad to have you as well. Please tell us about yourself and about Pixie.
Sure. My name is Celso. I'm the founder here at Pixie. As you might have picked up from my accent, I'm not from these parts in the UK. I'm actually from Portugal. I moved in a few years ago. The reason why we started Pixie ultimately is to deliver a system that's easy for small firms to use. Most of the solutions out there we feel that are more appropriate for larger firms. And in a smaller firm, it's very challenging to be able to deliver the services and at the same time focus on the client service aspect. So hopefully with Pixie, we're able to automate some of those bits and just make it easier for everyone to manage clients, find all the correspondence in a single place with documents, etc.
Excellent. Well, thank you. We're glad to have you with us. And of course, it makes sense that you're with us because our topic about efficiency, the idea is it's not only we want our practice to be more efficient, which leads to profitability, but also the experience of our clients. Like, how is the efficiency going to help our clients as well? So Melanie, we're going to put the spotlight on you and start off with our questions. And the first one is how important is timeliness in delivering the client work for your firm and the profitability for your firm, as well as for the experience of your clients?
For me, timeliness is one of the most important features, not just for my clients, but for myself as well. Mostly because I am was a sole practitioner. I now do actually have some team because I've been growing, which is great. But when I first started, I had to really rely on my technology and programs like Pixie and other software that I use to really help me be the most efficient and effective that I could be so that I could get more work done in less time. And then, of course, clients love us being effective and efficient because they get their work done in a shorter period of time and they don't worry. I mean, people typically are worried about their tax, they're worried about their work. And so being a mental health professional as well, the more that I can relieve their stress and their anxiety, the happier I feel and the happier they feel.
Excellent. So it's kind of like this synergistic relationship.
That's
I love
right.
that. Now, do you think, because it sounds like your firm is virtual completely through the internet, is it?
It is, yeah.
Excellent. Do you think that client expectations of delivery of timeliness and the work is changing because of technology?
I definitely think it has changed. And so I am very careful to manage expectations right up front because it puts a lot of pressure on us as accountants to constantly be delivering faster and faster. But that is not in service of our clients at the end of the day, because even though we can do things more effectively and more efficiently, that doesn't mean we don't still need time to produce a quality product.
Yes.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
Excellent. Now, do you think that, well, I should ask you, how have you improved your efficiency specifically so that it's benefiting both you and your clients?
Let's say I've always really loved systems. I know. I'm like, how have I done that? I've simplified, and I've looked for tools that are simple and easy to use, but also effective. Of course, it's great to have tools that are simple and easy to use, but if they're not effective, that doesn't help. And even though I can understand more complicated technology, it doesn't benefit me or my team or my clients to bring that complicated technology into a small firm with clients that are smaller businesses, because if the technology is more complicated, it's more complicated for them to use. So I've really started to look for software that is simple and easy to use. And that's the approach I've taken, and it's really working with my clients and my staff, myself.
Excellent. Love to hear that. And there's an expression that says, the confused mind says no. And that's definitely true with our clients.
That's right. Yeah.
Excellent. And Celso, that leads right to you, because you kind of have the behind the scenes look of many different small accounting firms and how they're trying to improve their efficiency. So what have you noticed with Pixie? Because of course that's part of the premise of Pixie. What have you found that your customers are doing that is relieving their stuck points and improving the client experience?
Yeah, absolutely. So I definitely agree with what Melanie described. That's pretty much the trend that we see here at Pixie as well. Primarily firms in search of something that doesn't feel overwhelming. The past year has been super challenging for everyone, and what we're seeing now is firms trying to find solutions that are easy to get on with, primarily. So something that they can deploy and start using just feels natural. And obviously, from our side, what we want to do as well is to remove all the points of friction in terms of dealing with clients. So we understand, for example, we're clients ourselves, and I'm just as guilty as everyone else, and I apologize for that. But it's very easy for us to kind of like focus on the business and then just leave the request of the accountants for later. So a few things that we incorporated and tried to incorporate into Pixie is this ability to request clients to provide important documentations right up front, leaving plenty of time to get the work done in the background, and also to reduce the friction from the client side to providing that information, right? The last thing you want is the client coming back and saying, hey, I don't remember like my login to this or that or the other. You really want them to just click something, upload the documents, and that would be it. So that's the approach that we're trying to feed into Pixie. And ultimately, at the end of the day, it's just following the philosophy of less is more. So that's pretty core to what we do here. And so far, it's been working out great. And we see that in the testimonials that we get from the clients as well, from the client side.
Good. Excellent. Well, and that leads to getting more specific, because we know that's what the learning is really, when we can see specific situations. So Melanie, you're back on the hot seat, because we've just come through a tough tax season. And usually when we're under stress, that's when our systems and processes show the cracks and the problems. So in your practice, what have you done to help smooth over any of the weak spots in your processes, especially for taxes? Because that's when we're under pressure.
Yeah, it's, when we're under stress and pressure, we tend to default to our original state, right? Like our bad habits and the things that we're used to doing. So I'm no different than anyone else, even though I'm a counselor. People tend to think that. They're like, well, you're a counselor. You should have it all together. You should be doing things exactly right. And I'm like, no. I just know, how it's supposed to be done. And I have done a lot of self-reflection and definitely improvement in those areas. But I think I've always implemented, what worked, what didn't work after the tax season. When you're in the thick of it, it's really difficult to make changes. So, sometimes you really do have to address things that are going on. This last tax season, I actually ended up hiring somebody in the middle of tax season because I needed the extra help. So that's what I ended up doing. But it's just going to be asking yourself, what do I need in this moment? And so it really is going to be very individual for everybody. But it's about taking a step back and really assessing what is it that your system needs. Maybe you just need a break. Sometimes it's not about, is your system broken? Sometimes you're a little broken, and you just need to step back and take a moment to breathe.
Yes, excellent. And Celso, I know that you have a lot of experience regarding tax and seeing the pressure that happens. What would you say is a great place if an accountant is listening to this and saying, I was pulling my hair out, now I want to assess my systems? Where's a good place for them to start to improve and smooth over their processes?
Yeah. Well, two things on that front. I definitely empathize with how stressful tax seasons are. In the previous business, we were in that doing exactly that. And usually we'd have a few tens of thousands of tax returns to process in the last month. And that was always a big stress. So much so that January for me is still complicated. I don't know why. I just sleep very, very little in January. I'm always on the edge. But that said, I really agree with what Melanie describes in terms of on stressful times, we always default to what we feel is safe, to that safe default. So I think that one of the most important things is to get sane defaults in place just before you hit that. For us, in our case, that means just creating a process, something that every single tax return goes through so that you don't have to think about what should be done next. And that is pretty core to ensuring that things are a bit more manageable, especially if you're juggling multiple tasks at the same time. It's very easy to lose track of what's going on. So just having that checklist, knowing, okay, this is the stage at which this thing is. It's great having the communications pre-written so that you don't have to worry about what do I need to tell this client, for example, really helps. Another thing that we find very helpful, especially here in the UK, in the US as well, because the tax filing period is so long, it's about 3 months if I'm not mistaken. So from that perspective, it's great to just shift or to get the clients involved as early as possible into the process so that they themselves don't leave things to the last minute as well. And usually I find this to be an opportunity because it helps improve the service delivery from the firm's side. It reduces the load in the deadlines and at the same time kind of educates the clients on the way that the firm wants to work. And that's very, very helpful for future relationship with those clients as well. So those would kind of like be the approaches that I would recommend based both on past experience as well as speaking to our clients.
Excellent. So, Melanie, tell us, you've worked on your processes, you've become more efficient and grown your practice. What would you say are the best rewards you've reaped from this effort of becoming more efficient?
Well, I've definitely grown my revenue, so that's always a bonus. I was able to, quit my part-time job and have my business pay me full-time, as well as now hire some people, which is always nice. And I'm definitely a lot less stressed out. Like using Pixie has been fantastic because, when things are small, I was able to keep everybody's details in my head. Like I knew exactly what was going on with every client. I knew every deadline. I didn't have to worry about it. And then as I started to grow, and especially when I hired someone, I just kind of lost what was going on. And so I knew I really needed some workflow software then. And, I tried spreadsheets, I tried different processes, and finally ended up, because I'm a virtual office, needed something that was a little bit more robust, but not complicated again. Mm-hmm. So I implemented Pixie and finally started sleeping at night, not waking up in the middle of the night wondering what I was missing, not dreaming about tax returns or client work that I was missing out on. And then, clients are obviously happier, and I'm not, waking up to emails asking me. I mean, I honestly have a really great set of clients, so I'm lucky. But they still, email to ask where their stuff is when it gets to be a little bit of a long time. And, what Celso was talking about with the processes and having the pre-done templates, that's been a godsend to me. Like, I don't even have to think about it. And more than that, it makes everything very uniform. So there's consistency. Like, I've come up with the wording for the emails, and then my staff can handle the actual project. So the wording goes out, it's great. The clients get a really consistent experience, and they're happy because the brand that I've created, which is one that's more leaning towards the softer skills, like I'm a counselor, how people feel is very important to me, reducing their anxiety, and especially how communications are worded. It's very important. So I can create those emails, they go out. It's fantastic. Everybody has the exact same experience. So it's really helped to create a consistent brand for me and help me, take the afternoon off when I want to. So that's what's important to me, the flexibility as well as keeping my clients happy.
Yeah, it sounds fantastic. Yeah. It's a win all around. You're saving time, making more money, and having better client experiences. I think that's what it's all about. So fantastic. So Celso, that leads us to you, and we see how Melanie really has had a big transformation in her practice from getting efficient and using a tool like Pixie. So tell us, you told us a little bit, why Pixie was started, but like why, if I'm a practitioner looking for practice management that's going to help me get more effective and efficient, like why is Pixie better than any of the other, there's a lot of other practice management apps out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So, I would say that there are potentially a few reasons. The first is that we designed Pixie with the ambition that you're able to just get started right away. So most of the practice management solutions out there, they tend to default towards instructing you and working with you to spend a few weeks, spend a few months just optimizing the processes, etc. We designed Pixie from the perspective of you're really stressed, you just want something to get everything under control as quickly as possible. So this just reverts back to what Melanie was saying about how people feel and anxiety and all of that. So those are the principles that we have in Pixie. There are obviously a number of features that could be really helpful, especially in a small firm setting. And I would invite anyone to just get started with a trial and seeing if it's the right fit for them or if something else is going to work better. But from our side, we feel that, again, the simplicity that and the focus on simplicity that we add to the service, we feel that it's really the best out there for smaller firms that just want something to get started, something to help them focus on service delivery and not so much on the details of everything and what are my next deadlines and things like that, with the reassurance that they can go to a single place and find everything they need to get the job done.
Excellent. So if someone wants to go check out Pixie, where should they go?
Sure. I invite everyone to go to usepixie.com or to just Google it for Pixie CRM and hit the first link that you can find. And just start the 30-day free trial. You don't need any credit card to get started. Have access to all the features. And we look forward to welcoming you into our platform.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Melanie, for sharing your experiences out in the trenches of getting more efficient and how it can help our clients. And thank you, Celso, too, for sharing your experiences and opening our eyes to the possibilities with Pixie. Thanks.
No problem. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.